Hello, this is part 1 of my in-depth analysis and or review of the game Clone Drone in the Hyperdome, which released recently and I really like. This segment will be focusing on a specific breed of enemy that specializes in the sword type of weapon. I call them the sword bots throughout this video. A better name for them might be the samurai bots, but I already made it and edited this video, so I don't feel like going back and fixing that. If you end up enjoying this content and want to see how this project pans out, feel free to subscribe to BG Bits. Doing so will allow you to see every part as I make them, and give feedback on it so I can go back and make changes before I make the full release on my main channel, Burning Godzilla 2042. Alright, enough talk. Let's enter robot mode. I'll talk about each enemy type and all their marks, and the differences between them before I move on to the next. And with that, let's get started with... the simple sword bot. These guys may carry themselves confidently, but they're complete pushovers. Their wind-up is slow, their attack is slower, and they basically always go for the same horizontal slash. If you die by them, you should feel incredibly ashamed, and we are all incredibly disappointed. Once you clash with them, they're pretty much your bitch. You can have your way with them basically no matter what you do or how you decide to use that clash, because their recovery, you guessed it, is slow. Complete fodder for your weapon to feed on. I'm throwing the rapier bots in here because they're pretty much the same enemy with a different weapon. These guys are a bit scarier than the regular sword counterparts, but only when they attack, because their attack speed can truly catch you off guard. But I don't recommend you clash with them, no. The bane of these enemies is... Just step back to the side. These guys have a pretty long wind-up, and when they do this wind-up, they're locked onto you. And you can avoid them long before they even start attacking. They have an even longer recovery after they attack. So when they're just standing there like they're Scooby-Doo who just found a scent trail, you can give it some easy violence. The same thing applies to the Mark II rapier. They're just a bit faster, and I think they check your location before they attack. Still, just wait for them to attack, and they commit horrific wanton violence onto them. The intermediate sword bot. These guys are a nice middle ground. Not too hard, not too easy. They have more varied attacks, and they will easily kill you if you give them the chance, but you can still just as easily have your way with them by taking advantage of their relatively sluggish recovery time and their still very predictable attacks. However, their recovery time is mostly only sluggish if you fling their weapon out to the side during a clash, since doing that will unbalance them, which makes their recovery longer. The Master Sword Bot. I owe all 2 of my last Crash Loop runs to these guys. If the Mark I Sword Bots are untrained and the Mark IIs are novice at best, these guys are freaking masters. They're like this because they learned the one thing that can defeat any Skyrim sword shaking abilities. Spatial awareness. They take account of where your sword is when you attack. They will literally try to leave your line of sight and area of defense to attack you from the side. You know, that's all in good. A bit tricky, but still easy to deal with once you know what the f just happened. That's right. These guys will legitimately feign their attacks to throw you off, which is not only extremely awesome, but also extremely effective. They also have a pretty solid defense, and then once you break through it, it's pretty easy to pin and cut them down. Just remember that they can do the same to you just as easily. If you know how to exploit the windows in their attacks, you can take them down relatively easily, but that kind of applies to all the enemies. And is usually only viable in 1v1s where there's nothing else to focus on. Other than that, be wary of these guys and pay attention, or else you can count your run as good as lost. Once you clash with them, they will try to disengage pretty quickly and attack again. Don't allow them that second attack. Keep them on the defensive, and you should be fine. And, whew, that's the sword bots for you. It's like 1 AM, I'm going to bed. Have a good day, everyone.